I'm now standing opposite the United States Embassy in Harare, Zimbabwe, where a group of people has been demonstrating since March 2019. It is almost 1,200 days since the group, the Broad Alliance Against Sanctions, put up camp here, vowing that the camp would only be broken when the sanctions are removed.
Panapa tiri kudemonstrate ma-American kuti vari kutipemberera kuti vasvika makore akati vari munyika yedu yatakavapa isusu yatakavapa nzvimbo yekugara isu tichitoshungurudzwa nemasanction saka tikutovaratidza kuti aiwa zvamuri kutoita hatisi kufara nazvo.
We are here to stay until they've removed these illegal embargoes that they imposed on our nation.
For more than 2 decades, Zimbabwe has borne the brunt of economic sanctions imposed by the United States government and its Western allies since 2001, following the decision to reclaim land from white farmers and parcel it out to formerly landless blacks. Although the United States says the sanctions only target certain entities, the sanctions have aroused condemnation both in Zimbabwe and across the continent, where people have been calling for their removal.
I realize that most industries close due to sanctions, meaning that sanctions are actually the major cause for all of our other problems in Zimbabwe.
The business operating environment changed to the worse, and foreign direct investment ceased to flow into the country.
This economy has never been the same again, because the most deadly effect of sanctions on Zimbabwe, they're actually targeted at ordinary people. And these are millions of Zimbabweans. We have suffered loss of access to clean water, loss of access to affordable housing, our roads falling apart, we can't build new hospitals, we can't even rehabilitate our old infrastructure.
They even offered us money. They said, we can give the 4 of you each 100,000. We buy each of your houses. We said no. Paying us will not empower the 15 million Zimbabweans. Paying us won't change our industry. We want our industry to function. We want our people to go to school. We want our people to seek medication, which will be affordable.
Pues sí, analistas apuntan que desde 2002, cuando se aplicaron las sanciones de Estados Unidos y países europeos sobre Zimbabwe, la economía de ese país nunca ha vuelto a ser la misma y que el efecto más mortífero de las sanciones fue, ante todo, pintar a Zimbabwe como un estado paria. Las afectaciones han sido cuantiosas y sensibles. Los bancos perdieron más de 100 recursos correspondientes, se experimentó una pérdida masiva de empleos y no se pudieron crear nuevas ocupaciones con facilidad. Tan solo la inversión extranjera directa, que fue de $95 millones en la década de 1990, cayó en picada a alrededor de 20 millones anuales en la década de 2000. Por estas y otras razones, dado el efecto angustioso de las sanciones sobre la viabilidad de las empresas en Zimbabwe, no se detienen las protestas contra el castigo económico dentro y fuera del país.
We are being made to suffer for reclaiming what belongs to us, the issue of land. Zimbabwe went to war to liberate themselves. The Zimbabweans went to war to liberate themselves from foreign domination, from colonialism, and with Britain being the colonial power. And today, we are glad that we managed to reclaim that land. But it has come with a very heavy cost to Zimbabwe, because Zimbabwe was put under sanctions for reclaiming its land. because the former colonial powers don't want a country to determine its own destiny. They would want to control what is good for you and what is not good for you. But we said the land belongs to us. And we went to war to claim that land. And it is up to us to do what we want with our land. But they bring in a lot of other issues that there is no democracy, there is no human rights, there is no this, as a way to keep Zimbabwe under their foot.
Pero, ¿cuánto sabemos de Zimbabue? ¿Por qué es tan notable y sensible el peso de las sanciones externas sobre su sector agrícola? Zimbabue es un país del sur de África sin salida al mar. Tiene una superficie total de más de 39 millones de hectáreas, de las que 33,3 millones, nótese que es casi la totalidad del terreno, son utilizadas para fines agrícolas. Las 6 millones de hectáreas restantes se han reservado para parques nacionales y vida silvestre, así como para asentamientos urbanos.
The government, particularly in the field of agriculture, is assisting the rural people with inputs, including the farming equipment like tractors, so that they can produce not only enough for themselves, but also enough for themselves plus for export, so that they can benefit more from their resources.
Zimbabue limita con Botsuana, la República de Sudáfrica, Mozambique y Zambia. Y algo curioso, casi la mitad de su población, superior a 12 millones de habitantes, son menores de 15 años. Dado que los zimbabuenses siguen siendo en gran medida un pueblo rural que obtiene su sustento de la agricultura y otras actividades económicas rurales relacionadas, es fácil deducir que la agricultura es la columna vertebral de la economía nacional. Al ser la principal fuente de sustento para la mayoría de la población, la salud de la agricultura es clave determinante en la resistencia de los medios de vida rurales, así como en los niveles de pobreza que se pueden experimentar. Tan solo el sector campesino produce el 70% de los alimentos básicos, dígase maíz, mijo, maní. También la ganadería y los productos ganaderos contribuyen significativamente a la economía de Zimbabue. El ganado representa entre el 35 y el 38% del Producto Interno Bruto aportado por el sector agrícola. Su valor es inestimable en los medios de vida rurales y la seguridad alimentaria, por el suministro de carne, leche, huevos, cueros y pieles, fuerza de tiro y estiércol para la fertilización. La masa ganadera también actúa como inversión doméstica estratégica. En tanto, los pequeños rumiantes, como ovejas y cabras, y los no rumiantes, en particular las aves de corral, constituyen una importante red de seguridad en caso de sequía, puesto que, por su disponibilidad, se puede obtener dinero en efectivo fácilmente cuando surge la necesidad o durante una crisis de sequía. Se dice que el sistema de pequeños agricultores de Zimbabue tiene el potencial de crecer y convertirse en la corriente principal del indicador de desempeño del sector ganadero.
Por siglos, la humanidad ha reparado casi únicamente en este rostro de África. ¿Es usted de los que creen que una porción de verdad continúa desestimada por las grandes plataformas de la comunicación? Le invitamos a descubrir África más allá de la precariedad mediática, real o construida. Conozca el potencial de sus poblaciones, algunas abriéndose paso en terrenos de fuerte desarrollo económico, asimismo la creación de estructuras organizacionales que articulan los caminos a seguir en la búsqueda del progreso del continente. Bienvenidos a África sin estigmas, en positivo, bella y emprendedora. África más allá.
In the past, we used to go to the banks as the only way of accessing the finance. But government realized that as a result, most farmers were sinking in debts because the interest rates in the banks were very high. So government then came up with a scheme to give free seed to the farmers and fertilizers. And then at the end of the harvest, you pay back what is equivalent to what you would have taken from government. And then you pocket the difference. So that has helped many farmers who were sinking in debts. Because the banks, most of the banks which were giving loans are controlled from outside. So it was actually a way of frustrating our farmers. And some of the farmers ended up giving up farming. But when the President Mnangagwa came with this policy, more and more farmers are now back into farming. In fact, there is high demand for land. People would like to go into farming because the new policies have made it easier for the ordinary farmers to be able to produce and sell and pocket their profits.
Algunos llegan a describir las sanciones como un arma de destrucción masiva. Ciertamente ha costado a Zimbabue no poder construir nuevas carreteras, hospitales, clínicas o incluso rehabilitar la infraestructura antigua porque las instituciones internacionales le han negado el acceso a una financiación asequible. Varios organismos de fuerza internacional han llamado al levantamiento de esas medidas unilaterales que impactan sobre todo en la población y su desarrollo. La Unión Africana y la Comunidad de Desarrollo de África Austral, SADC, han sostenido el discurso más amparador. Sobre todo esta última, la SADC, dedica una jornada al año para denunciar la injusticia de esas sanciones económicas impuestas contra Zimbabue por potencias occidentales, las cuales impiden avanzar en su desarrollo sustentable.
In April 1980, in Lusaka, Zambia, our founders came together and formed the Southern African Development Coordination Conference, which later, in August 1992, in Windhoek, Namibia, transformed into the Southern African Development Community, SADC, following the signing of the SADC Declaration and Treaty. Through SADC, our founders envisioned a region that would collectively advance the cause of national political liberation, paving the way for economic integration in Southern Africa. True to the dreams and aspirations of our founders, SADC has made significant strides towards development, peace and security, and economic growth through regional integration and cooperation. Over the years, the membership of SADC has increased from 9 in 1992 to the current 16 member states, bringing a unique diversity of states in mainland Southern Africa and the Indian Ocean. The increased membership has not only demonstrated the willingness of member states to cooperate in addressing issues of importance to the region, but has expanded SADC's footprint on the African continent while creating a larger market for goods and services within a population of 340 million and a combined GDP of $720 billion. Since its establishment, SADC has consistently shown unwavering solidarity and unity against the many challenges the region faces. The SADC region was at the forefront of the global campaign to end apartheid in South Africa, which led to the independence of Namibia in 1990 and the collapse of the apartheid system in South Africa in 1994. Today, SADC is a stable and peaceful region with an expansive market, a youthful population, and a conducive environment for investment. SADC's solidarity and commitment to deeper regional integration has been demonstrated by the signing of a total of 33 protocols covering a wide range of sectors including agriculture, food security and natural resources, infrastructure, industrial development, trade, investment and finance, social and human development, peace and security. Added to these protocols are instruments and policies which include the Regional Indicative Strategic Development Plan, Strategic Indicative Plan for the Organ on Politics, Defense and Security Cooperation, SADC Industrialization Strategy and Roadmap 2015 to 2063, SADC Regional Agricultural Policy, and SADC Regional Infrastructure Development Master Plan. Together, these protocols and instruments have laid a strong legal and policy framework for promoting regional cooperation and integration in various sectors. Over the years, SADC has continued to improve facilitation of movement of persons as well as goods and services across the region. The removal of visa requirements for most SADC member states allows SADC citizens to freely travel to any SADC country. With the SADC recognized driver's license, SADC citizens can drive to any SADC country without having to acquire another driver's license. The one-stop border posts which are being established along some of the transport corridors within the region, together with the harmonized road transport regulations, have all eased movement of people, goods, and services, thereby saving time and reducing transport costs for travelers. One region, 16 nations, working towards a common future.
SADC is at the forefront in calling for the lifting of sanctions. SADC has always been at the forefront for the liberation of Zimbabwe. SADC came up with a declaration which was adopted in Tanzania a few years ago, I think about 3 years ago. They declared 25th of October of every year as the Anti-Sanctions Day. All SADC countries on the 25th of October, they call for the lifting of sanctions against Zimbabwe. Zimbabwe is on the way to greater economic improvement. Fortunately for Zimbabwe, it is a country which is endowed with mineral resources, a lot of them, and also good soils, good rainfall, skilled manpower, good tourist attractions, amongst others. So the current thrust by my government, led by His Excellency Emmerson Dambudzo Mnangagwa, is to invite investors who would like to invest in Zimbabwe, because there is so much potential for investment in any of those fields. Zimbabwe is open for business. And so far, that call has attracted so many foreign investors. Some are already investing, some are preparing to come. They've made promises, and the future looks very bright. I can give you one good example that in the next few months, Zimbabwe is likely to be one of the oil-producing countries. We are almost there. And once Zimbabwe becomes an oil-producing country, the benefits which should be derived from that will definitely propel the development of the country. Gone are the days when we used to be dependent on other countries, foreign countries, for example. We used to mortgage our countries or borrow from many international organizations at high interest rates, to a point that a country would end up, being strangled. But the current thrust is to use the resources that we have. And as I've already said, that fortunately for Zimbabwe, we do have skilled labor, skilled manpower. Our Zimbabwean population are highly educated. We are concentrating on empowering our own people, making them the owners of their own resources, and not to work for Mr. John or Mr. Dixon, but for them to own those companies themselves. And this is what the current government of President Emmerson Mnangagwa is focusing on. And the policy is driving huge benefits. And I think it is just a question of time before the people themselves can realize the benefits of the new administration of President Emmerson Mnangagwa.
This cyber city is to be a key feature that will bring added value to our new city here. The development around here for the smart city on 15,500 hectares will be the smartest city in our region.
Investment by the UAE investor in the Smart City project is quite instrumental from an economic development point of view. So of course we expect businesses to benefit, local businesses to benefit out of that, employment creation and the development of basic infrastructure. I think what we're seeing is a huge infrastructure gap in Zimbabwe, and we think that those kind of investments will actually catapult us in terms of reaching our Vision 2030, our objectives to be a middle income nation.
A pesar del progreso mínimo con varias personas y entidades estatales eliminadas de la lista de sanciones, principalmente por parte de la Unión Europea, Zimbabue y sus defensores se mantienen activos. Hoy hemos mostrado cómo durante los últimos 20 años diversas formas de cumplimiento excesivo de esas medidas limitativas han tenido un efecto dominó insidioso en la economía y en el disfrute de los derechos humanos fundamentales en Zimbabue, incluidos el acceso a la salud, los alimentos, el agua potable y el saneamiento, la educación, tanto como al empleo. Pero los planes de gobierno zimbabuense para lograr los objetivos de desarrollo sostenible del país, contenidos en su Estrategia Nacional de 2021 a 2025, favorecen la persistencia, luchar, transformar y recibir de quien ayude a avanzar a esa nación austral contra los castigos que pretenden cercenar su progreso.
Sanctions or no sanctions, Zimbabwe is on the move.